What's up, idols? It's CC Listen 3. Welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for clicking on this video. Y'all see that? Y'all see that little nugget back there? If you want to see more about that unboxing, you can watch the vlog that I just uploaded a few days ago. But we are back today with a story time. The headline in this email told me everything I needed to know, and this was a story I definitely have to share with y'all. So leave a comment that says for the tea, for the algo, for the watch.
For the watch. For the watch. For the watch. For the watch.
For the watch.
Please like, comment, share, and subscribe if this is the type of content that you like. I've been experimenting with more uploads lately, and I think that's gonna be the new norm. So turn on your notifications so you don't miss when I upload a new video, please. So before we jump right into the story, there is a little bit of an intro that she wanted me to read so y'all know what we're about to get into. I swear I lived a reverse K-drama. No kimchi slapping, no drink throwing, no evil in-laws here. I'm happy to share my story, especially if it can boost feel-goods. Call me Tiana if you choose to share my story, and thanks so much for the watch, girl. So we have a happy story with the in-laws and a crazy romance story, so let's get right into it. So for this video, she's gonna be Tiana, Princess Tiana. And it might seem repetitive, but we have yet another English teacher. I'm just saying, like, I can't emphasize enough.
We out here.
English teachers are really common in South Korea. And Tiana loves her job, but it does take up a lot of her free time. I worked at a public school, so I was pretty lucky. I didn't have like these crazy hagwon hours that'll be like 2 to 10 p.m. or 9 to 7 p.m. I only worked from about 8 to 2 or 3. And it wasn't even every day that I worked. So because she works at a hagwon, her work hours are pretty crazy. And even though she's been teaching for about 2 years at this point, she doesn't have a lot of friends in South Korea yet. Most of her friends work with her at the school, and they're also fellow English teachers. Most of her friends work with her at the hagwon that she's at, and they're also fellow English teachers. Some are her age, but her best friend is a bit older. She's actually really close to one of the older teachers, and she calls her auntie. She took her under her wing. She helps her with translation, banking issues, even ordering food for her. They cook together and they hang out a lot. She's definitely the person that she hung out with the most. She said, I can't explain it either, but hey, it worked. She was my homie. So when she wasn't at school dealing with these crazy hagwon hours, she was home a lot preparing materials, grading assignments. You also have to communicate a lot with the parents of these students and like update them on your child's progress. And I remember Bria, Tanya, and Aaron, they used to have to do these things called like teacher's notes or something. It would be Friday night. I'm sitting there, I worked at a public school, so when I clock out, I'm done. I'm sitting there like, yo, it's getting late. Are we going out or not? And they're like, I just gotta finish these teacher notes. Little Susie's mom is getting on my nerves. So that makes sense. By the way, for the sake of the story, we're gonna call the auntie Imo, which is auntie. But it's like, it's different. It's Imo and Como, depending on if it's the dad's sister or the mom's sister. We're just gonna call her Imo.
I walk this empty street on the boulevard of broken dreams.
Not that one. So Imo would often call Tiana at home just to check in on her, see how she's doing, see what she's doing. And when she would call Tiana, she would always be surprised and a little disappointed that she was home and she wasn't out having fun and being young. She's like, why don't you go out and go on dates? Like, you're a beautiful young girl. Like, go out and have fun and enjoy the world. Tiana's like, I don't have the time for that. Also, guys here don't show interest in me. Imo heard that. She's like, what? They don't show interest in you? What do you mean? She's like, that's impossible. Where are you looking for men? And Tiana shamelessly said Tinder. And Imo laughed because yes, even Imo, auntie, knows the woes of Tinder. So Imo, talking to Tiana, said, if you want to meet someone sincerely and honestly, you got to do it the old-fashioned way. So she asked, how does she do that as a foreigner in Korea where her Korean's not that good? She doesn't know who speaks English. She doesn't know who's interested in her. She said it's a lot harder because she doesn't fit the beauty standards that she sees all around her every day. And I've made many videos about that. I am there with you, Tiana. I totally get it. So then Imo's like, what do you mean? What beauty standards? I'm like, girl. So Tiana's like, these tiny faces, these big doughy eyes, pale skin, skinny as fuck, long dark hair, dainty feminine features like that of a child. So Imo tells her, you're so beautiful, you shouldn't assume these guys aren't interested in you. Just because you look different doesn't mean you're not beautiful here too. And she even told her different is very refreshing. And of course Tiana really appreciates hearing that, but it is already hard, full stop, to put yourself out there and be vulnerable when you're trying to find out if you're someone's type or date. But it's even more difficult if you can't communicate and you don't fit the norms of what beauty is. You don't fit the ideas of what they've been raised to believe is beautiful. And she says swiping kind of eliminated that element of difficulty, because if they swipe on her, there's some degree of interest in there, right? When in all actuality, this is how men swipe on Tinder. So out of nowhere, after a long pause, Imo tells Tiana, you should date my son. And Tiana laughed at first, of course, thinking that was a joke. And then Imo's like, what's funny? 웃지 마고 진짜로. Tiana's like, wait, what? She's like, my son is such a good boy. He speaks great English. I made sure of that. He's a little younger than you, but he does like a Nuna. But then she said he may not be that handsome, but he's very smart and kind. Yeah, you know, even if you don't tell that to people, like, that's not how you sell your son. I just found that so funny because I know how in the West, like, you know, there's a saying that a face only your mother could love, because your mom is supposed to love you and find you attractive and pretty and cute and handsome no matter what. But here in Asia, they will say, like, he's not that handsome, but he's really nice, or he's not that handsome, but he studies well. So I'm sorry, I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, this is awkward, right? Put yourself in Tiana's shoes. You know, you're at home minding your business, getting some work done, relaxing, and then your homegirl calls you, picking your mind about your love life and your personal life, and then out of nowhere tells you, you should date my son. First of all, what do you say to that? What would y'all say to that? Let me know in the comments. Like, would you be like, yeah, cool? Or would you be like, I'm not interested, I just want to be single? Like, what do you even say to that? Because you don't want to hurt her feelings. But also, you might be interested in going on a date. So what do you do? What do you say to that? So naturally, Tiana has some questions. 1, she wants to know more about him. 2, she wants to know why Emo thinks this would be a good idea. 3, if he's so good, why is he single? And Emo says, my son is like you. He's more into his work than dating and a love life. He stays home all the time. And she says, I see what a good woman you are, and I think you would be good for my son. She said, I'd be so happy if you two met and you hit it off. Meet him once, what's the harm? So Tiana has her own do it for the plot moment, and she agrees to go on a date with her son. This is normally not like her. She had never been on any sort of blind date or arranged meeting like this at all. But hey, worst case scenario, now it's an experience she can cross off of, yeah, I did that before. Plus she trusts Emo, and if Emo thinks this will be good, it at least won't be bad. So they ended the phone call, and now Tiana's like, what did I just get myself into? She wondered what he looked like, but she thought it might be rude to ask what her, like, can I see a picture of your son? Especially after she already agreed to this, because now if she cancels, then she looks shallow, because like, oh, you didn't think he was handsome, huh? So she decided, you know, let me just let this be a genuine, authentic blind date experience. I'm going in this literally not knowing what he looks like. So over the course of the next few days, they go back to work as usual, and every time Tiana and Emo see each other, Emo's like, so are you excited to meet my son? Do you know what you're gonna wear yet? Do you know what you guys want to do? He's so excited to meet you too. I showed him your picture and he thinks you're so pretty. So then that kind of makes Tiana wonder, like, oh yeah, what does he think about this? Like, what if she's pressuring him to go on this? Kind of how I feel a little pressure to go into this. I don't want him to meet me just to appease his mom. What if he doesn't actually want to meet me? Anyway, we will jump ahead to this date. They're just meeting for lunch, by the way. Because Tiana couldn't decide what she wanted to do, Emo decided to arrange it for them. She's very invested and hands-on, if you can't tell. So Tiana arrived about 10 minutes early, and coincidentally, she sees a young man over there waiting by himself, also about 10 minutes early. She's wondering if this is the boy or not, because remember, she doesn't know what he looks like. So she figured for now, she could just look for someone that kind of looked like Emo. And she doesn't have to wonder for long, because this man walked over to her and approached her. He says, Tiana? Hi, I'm Emo's son. You can call me Hyunbae. Hyunbae's not his real name. I'm giving him that name. First off, he was not handsome. She thought he was pretty cute. From the way Emo described her son, Tiana had really low expectations, like, I'm about to date a foot. If even your own mom can't call you handsome, like, come on, you can't blame her for assuming the worst. But he was really cute, and goddamn if he did not look like Emo. He looked just like her. And at first that was a little weird for her, because like, she's besties with Emo, and now she's dating this boy who looks just like Emo. But also in a weird way, it made her feel more comfortable and familiar because she was so close with his mom. She felt like it would be easy to get close with him, or at least comfortable with him. She felt a little conscious about being like overdressed because he just showed up in a sweater and jeans. So they shake hands and they head inside to have a seat. It's a bit awkward at first. They kind of sit there looking at the menu, looking around. And then Tiana decides to just burst out an apology. She's like, I'm sorry, I know this is probably weird for you. Your mom was probably a bit forceful in getting you to come meet me. Like, she probably insisted a lot, right? You probably felt obligated to meet me as a dutiful son, and I'm so sorry. Like, she just kept apologizing to him. He's like, no, don't worry. I saw your picture and I really wanted to meet you. You're really pretty.
You're like really pretty.
Thank you.
My mom says a lot of nice things about you and you look way better in person. So then Tiana's like, stop, you think I'm cute? So then he asked what his mom said about him. She's like, well, you know, I hear you're very well into your studies. You're like me, you don't get out much, and you're very kind. So Hyunbae smiled when he heard that. He's like, huh, yeah, that does sound like my mom. She tells me I shouldn't spend so much time alone. I should go out and socialize. I should go on dates. So then with that, Tiana's like, oh, what was your last relationship? What was that like? He said it was actually in uni, but they end up breaking up because he was too busy with work. And now that he's more established in his field, he does have a little bit more free time. because he's more stable. Nothing bad or dramatic, just lack of time. As he's explaining this, Tiana's like, wow, your mom didn't exaggerate. You're like really good at English. He said, you know my mom, you get why. And they had a really nice, easy flowing chat. They talked about work, travel, dating types, past relationships, current goals. It was pretty clear he liked her and she was definitely more interested in getting to know him too. So with that, they did finish their lunch and they decided, okay, we definitely got to see each other again. But first, Hyunbae had a really funny idea. All throughout the date, his mom was texting him and texting Tiana like, what's going on? Did you guys meet yet? How's the food? Is everything okay? But because they're more focused on getting to know each other, they didn't respond to the text. So Hyunbae said, how about we leave and pretend the date went badly? Let's tell my mom it did not go well. Tiana was down for that. So the first thing Tiana said was, I'm on my way back home. After all that, all the how's it going? How's the food? Did you meet him? Is he handsome? Is he the son that I raised? All she says is, the date's over. I'm going home now. So then Emo replies, what's wrong? Did it not go well? By the way, keep in mind that Tiana and Hyunbae are together texting like, this is gonna be so funny. It's not, they're still together. She didn't actually go home yet. So before Tiana can even respond to that, Emo calls Hyunbae. So then Hyunbae answers the phone like 여보세요? Nah, it didn't go well. It was awkward. He said they didn't really talk well. There wasn't really that spark or chemistry. And Hyunbae put the phone on speaker so Tiana could hear her reaction. Emo sounded so upset. She's like, how did you mess this up? I set everything up for you. What did you say? What did you do? What did you wear? Was she too quiet? I told her she needs to put in the effort. Don't worry, I'll talk to her. You guys can try again. This was just a first awkward date. Don't give up. And while this is going on, Tiana and Hyunbae are kind of like kikiing and trying to hold their laughter in. Finally, they couldn't hide it anymore and they just exploded in laughter. So Emo's on the phone confused like, like what's going on?
아니 왜 골로 가? 왜? 아니 왜?
So they're laughing and Tiana's like, I'm still here, I'm so sorry. It was just a little prank. And Hyunbae said, yeah, the date went well. I'm sorry, I just thought this would be funny.
Bitch, you guessed it. You was right.
Emo wasn't mad. She was like, I knew it. I knew y'all would hit it off. Y'all almost had me for a minute there. So she's asking for all the details and they were happy to report that they had plans to see each other the upcoming weekend. An indoor batting cage, a museum, and a movie. And she's like, I knew it. A mother knows. I knew this was gonna be great. And even though they just told her they have plans to see each other on another date the upcoming weekend, Emo jumps the gun and she's like, hey Tiana, how about you join us for dinner tomorrow? So she did go to their house for dinner. And as you can see, things are going really well. I mean, she was close with the mom first. The mom suggested she meet the son. She likes the son, so she's being embraced by the family already. So they agree to go on a few more dates, and after about a month or so, they decided to become an official, actual couple. Now here's where things get interesting and even better. As the weeks and months roll by, Tiana was basically part of the family. Chuseok, New Year's, or Solnar, New Year's, family picnics, many dinners and lunches. Tiana and Emo were even closer and they would eat lunch together at work almost every day. Now let's jump ahead 1 year. Tiana gets a call from Emo inviting her on a family trip to Jeju. And it was pretty normal to be invited on family outings and trips, especially around Korea. They take like a weekend trip to Gangwon-do, they go to Gangneung. She even got to go to Ulleung-do. I've been trying for years to go to Ulleung-do. So she's like, oh my god, I've never gone to Jeju. I would be so excited. Thank you for inviting me. Emo says it's a last minute thing. They just decided to put a trip together. She's like, oh, okay. Yeah, count me in. So they're gonna be at a resort in Sogwipo. Sogwipo is like the southern half of Jeju Island. They can enjoy the pool, the beach, some yummy seafood. It was gonna be Hyunbae, his parents, and his cousin, plus Tiana. So 5 of them. So after she got off the phone with Emo, she calls Hyunbae like, damn babe, like I didn't know we were going to Jeju. You didn't tell me? He's like, I didn't. I just found out too. But there's more to this trip than y'all think. She's also excited to meet this cousin because she's a family member that Tiana hasn't met yet. So now we jump to Sogwipo. They're on their trip in Jeju. The resorts there are nice. I remember summer 2022 when I was there with Kate and Bria. We got to go to one of the pools at a resort because Bria and Kate knew one of the guys who was like a, what do they call it? Like a residency? They had a residency there. So we were able to go in, they scanned us in, we got to enjoy the pool, live music. Here's a clip. Yeah, that was nice. So to get to the rooms, they get all checked in, and Tiana was surprised that she had a room all to herself. Naturally, she assumed she'd be sharing with her boyfriend. He said, it's probably more respectful to my mom that we're not in the same room on this family trip, which Fair. So far, she loves Sogwipo, the smell of the ocean, the beautiful imported palm trees, and the beach life. You know, the crazy hustle and bustle of Seoul finally can take it back and enjoy some nature, the beach, the waves, the ocean. Yeah. So on this trip, one cool thing is she got to spend more time with Hyunbae's dad because she didn't really talk to him all that much. He was nice enough and pleasant enough, he just didn't really have much to say. He was pretty quiet. But suddenly on this trip, he's definitely more engaging with her and asking her questions and talking with her, and she's like, oh, it's nice to meet you. Like, I feel like I'm finally meeting you. Unfortunately, this trip was only for about 4 days. So she woke up on the 3rd morning to a text from Imo saying, come down and meet us for breakfast. She was starving and said, yes, be right down. So when she goes down, she was kind of surprised that she only saw Imo and Hyunbae's cousin. We'll call her Hyuna. She asked where the men were, meaning Hyunbae and his dad. Apparently they were away on a fishing trip. Because they're leaving the next day, this was like a nice final time for the men to bond, just one-on-one. Imo excitedly said, we're gonna have a girls' day instead. So after breakfast, they went to get their nails and feet done. And after that, Hyuna and Tiana went to get some dresses because they wanted to dress up to go to a fancy dinner before they had to go back to Seoul. Throughout the day, she got texts from Hyunbae. He's saying how much he missed her, how he hopes his mom and his cousin are behaving. She's like, I miss you too, please tell me you're joining us for dinner. He's like, no, of course, I'll be there for dinner. I really want to wrap up this fishing trip. My dad doesn't want to stop fishing. So when Tiana finally gets back to the resort after a busy day out with the girls, Imo tells Tiana to get ready, wear one of the dresses she got today because they're gonna go out for a very fancy dinner. She's like, okay, I gotta hurry, I will go get ready. And one sweet thing is Hyuna, the cousin, actually bought Tiana this dress. And she's really excited for her man to see her in this dress that the cousin bought for her. So she does her hair, her makeup, gets all pretty, heads on down. She doesn't see anybody. She's like, where's Imo? Where's Hyunbae? Where's Hyuna? Where's his dad? Am I late? She got handed a note from staff. She read it really confused and it was from Imo. It told her to go out front to where the valet was parked and get into the black sedan. No specifics on which black sedan. She tried to call and text Imo but didn't get a response. She's like, shit, did I take that long? Did they already leave? Okay, they're waiting for me. She's also wondering why she didn't just call or text her. Like, that's so much simpler and modern. So she does as instructed. She goes outside, looks for a black sedan. Luckily, there was only one. She gets in it and heads to the restaurant. And on the way over, she's trying to call Hyunbae. Like, did I miss you guys? Like, are y'all already there? I'm so sorry, I'm on my way now. But he didn't even answer his phone.
That's odd.
So then she calls the cousin Hyuna. And Hyuna finally tells her, yeah, we're already here. Sorry, we don't want to rush you, but we had to honor the reservation. So she's like, oh my God, like they really were waiting on me. So she finally gets to this restaurant and it was nice. She said it was on a cliff overlooking the ocean. The sun had just set, so it was like this beautiful twilighty evening approaching. And when she goes to where the hostess is to ask them, I am looking for Imo or Hyunbae or Hyuna, somebody, they hand her another note. It just tells her to walk outside to the table on the patio. So she finally goes over there and she only sees Hyunbae. Also, all the guests in the restaurant are inside eating and they're the only ones outside eating. So she's laughing, walking over to him like, dude, is your mom pranking us? Is she finally getting back at us for what we did to her a year ago? And he laughs and is like, well, she did help me with this today. She's like, helped you with what? He's like, I needed my mom and my cousin to keep you busy while I prepared this. She's like, prepared? Prepared what? So he holds her hand and tells her how much she means to him and how much he loves her. How beautiful she looks, how lucky he feels to have her. And she's like, oh babe, that's so sweet, but you're kind of scaring me a little bit. Then he gets down on one knee and Tiana loses it. She's freaking out in total shock. As you can imagine, he says, I love you and I never expected to find someone to have these feelings for. I want to spend every day I have left with you. Will you marry me? What's that Michael Jordan meme with the tears? So she cried. She's crying now. And she took a while to answer, which made Hyunbae nervous. And then she realized, oh my God, I need to answer him. Yes, a million times, yes. And they celebrate. And finally, when they have their celebratory moment, that's when Hyuna comes out. That's when Imo comes out. That's when the dad comes out. I never named the dad in this story, huh? So they congratulate each other, welcome her to the family, and they all eat this dinner on this beautiful cliff overlooking the ocean at sunset, or nearly after sunset. Of course, Imo's taking all the credit, patting herself on the back like a mother knows, I knew this will happen. So this trip was like the perfect camouflage for this special plan, like this proposal to help catch her off guard, because she did not see this coming. She thought it was just another family trip they were inviting her to. She's like, you're gonna be my daughter, I always wanted a daughter. So this proposal just happened last September. As of sending this email, they're still planning their wedding. And just think about this. She went from throwing herself into her work, thinking that nobody in this country was interested in her, to being engaged. That's amazing. She spent most of her time alone, and now she has a brand new family in Korea. Let me not do this. Like, let me not. Tiana, girl, congratulations. And thank you so much for sharing this story, because I get a lot of comments from people telling me, I'm too negative, and I only share negative shit on my channel. I share what comes to me. And even the stories that do lean negative have a positive twist and spin on them. Like, a lesson can always be learned. If you want to see more story times like this, please check out the playlist. It's about to pop up on the end screen. Binge the rest of them on my channel. There's so many. We have over 100 story times now. Not only my stories, but also sent in from viewers. Thank you, Tiana. Congratulations. Please invite me to the wedding. Thanks for watching. If you did, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.